A worker was welding a metal piece in a busy work area. Right next to him, another worker was sitting on top of a gas cylinder, waiting. Everything looked ordinary until the cylinder suddenly began to leak gas. As the pressurized gas escaped rapidly, the cylinder started spinning in place and moving uncontrollably across the floor. The workers quickly moved away, but the situation created a serious hazard. This incident clearly shows how sensitive and dangerous gas cylinders can be. Gas cylinders should never be used for sitting, leaning, or as temporary support. They must always be stored upright, with protective caps on, secured against tipping. They should also be kept away from sparks, flames, welding operations, and hot surfaces, and regularly checked for leaks. During a malfunction at a factory, molten metal suddenly burst from a pressurized rod. The liquid metal shot upward like a flame and scattered several meters around. A nearby worker stepped back reflexively and escaped the danger at the very last moment. This incident shows how quickly temperature and pressure risks can appear in processes involving molten metal. Workers must stay at a safe distance and use face shields and heat-resistant protective gear. Pressure lines must be inspected regularly, and any signs of malfunction should never be ignored. Molten metal is extremely fast, causes severe injuries, and gives no second chances. At the end of a shift, a worker was cleaning around a large dough mixer in a bakery. Meanwhile, another employee, unaware that cleaning was still in progress, restarted the machine. When the mixer began to move, the worker who was cleaning became dangerously caught in the machine and suffered a serious accident. This incident clearly demonstrates how critical lockout-tagout, energy isolation, and lockout procedures are during cleaning or maintenance. Even if machines appear to be stopped, no cleaning or maintenance should be performed unless the energy is fully shut off and locked out. Clear communication, warning tags, and lockout devices can completely prevent these types of accidents. A worker was trying to wrap a rope around a rotating cylinder. At first, everything was under control, but a loose loop in the rope wrapped around the worker's leg and tightened quickly as the cylinder kept turning. The situation became dangerous instantly. This incident reminds us how dangerous loose ropes, cables, or pieces of fabric can be around rotating equipment. A safe distance must always be maintained around rotating parts. Ropes should be wound properly, and workers must use appropriate protective equipment. 3 forklifts were working simultaneously to lift a very large and heavy steel plate together. Although everything appeared controlled at first, the middle forklift's forks couldn't support the weight and lost stability. This caused the other 2 forklifts to lose their balance as well, making the heavy plate crash to the ground. This incident clearly shows that forklifts are not designed for multi-lift operations. Forklifts are meant for individual loads. Multiple lifting should only be done using specialized equipment, proper lifting attachments, and professional planning. A worker was standing close to a heavy machine part being moved by a crane. During the lift, the load suddenly shifted and swung toward the worker. He quickly stepped back and managed to avoid danger. This incident is a reminder of how risky it is to stand under or near suspended loads. During lifting operations, workers must stay clear of the load's potential movement zone and remain only in designated safe areas. A woman was standing in front of a vehicle while someone else tried to close the hood. As the hood came down, her hand was still there, and it got trapped when the hood shut. People nearby reacted quickly, opened the hood again, and freed her in seconds. This incident highlights the importance of checking the surroundings before closing a hood, trunk, or door. At a construction site, an excavator was in operation. The operator was inside the cab, while another worker was standing right next to the machine. Everything appeared normal until the ground beneath the excavator suddenly gave way, causing the heavy machine to tip sideways. The fact that it fell in the direction of the worker standing outside made the situation even more dangerous. This incident shows how quickly the stability of heavy machinery can change depending on ground conditions. No one should stand close to excavators or similar machines. Only trained operators should be inside the cab. Other workers must remain at a safe distance, and especially on soft, loose, or sloped ground. Soil stability should always be checked before the machine starts moving. The most important protection around heavy equipment is distance and proper positioning. Inside a factory, a worker started the second cycle of a molding machine. At the same time, another worker approached to inspect the machine. Without realizing that the machine had been restarted, he entered the operation zone, creating an extremely dangerous situation as the press cycle continued. This incident once again demonstrates why lockout-tagout procedures must be strictly followed. Before any inspection, maintenance, or cleaning, machines must be fully stopped, de-energized, and locked out. Clear and constant communication between operators and inspection personnel is essential, and protective systems such as safety locks, warning lights, and physical barriers must be active. A worker climbed onto the bed of a truck to tighten the bolts that secured the side panels. To work more comfortably, he leaned forward and placed his head between the outer metal grid of the panel. At that moment, an unsecured side panel slowly slid down, placing the worker's head in a potential pinch point between the grid and the frame. It became clear how even a small shift could create a serious hazard. This incident highlights the need for careful planning when working in tight spaces or near potential pinch points. Side panels must be secured before performing any task, and workers should never place their bodies into risky spaces such as grids, frames, or panel gaps. Proper positioning, securing equipment, and following safe work steps are the most effective ways to prevent these hazards. Don't miss new safety lessons. Hit subscribe now.